In this video I'll be reviewing and analyzing my thoughts on Spirit Halloween the movie. Ever since this particular movie got released on the date of October 11th in the year 2022, I've been very intrigued to see what this movie exactly had in store, no pun intended. Finally in 2024, a few weeks back, I finally conquered engulfing my brain into watching the entirety of Spirit Halloween the movie. And so what do SK Haunts think of this Spirit Halloween movie? Find out in this video. Oh, and by the way, happy Spirit Halloween flagship grand opening day 2024. So regarding Spirit Halloween the movie and what I overall think about it, it's not too bad, but you can definitely tell that it's a budget-rated film. Like for example, most of the CGI is good, except for when Bo kills off Nightcrawler with an extinguisher or whatever. Even some of the speaking lines for the human actors are kind of off too. But remember, this is a family-friendly adventure movie, so there's not much playability to the scripts and dialogues that you can do to make this Spirit Halloween movie more PG-13 rated. And while I'm on the topic, Spirit Halloween the movie isn't actually rated anything, but you could say it's again, B-rated. With my somewhat despising overview of Spirit Halloween the movie out of the way, let's talk about my more positive opinions, starting with the main reason, that being the animatronics. Definitely a weird selection for the animatronic characters. At the same time, the directors and producers of Spirit Halloween the movie did really good at picking them out. For example, there was Mr. Dark, which is great for having as an unofficial villain, but then there was also my favorite, Nightcrawler. And funny enough, Nightcrawler was played by a contortionist, I believe, which was so very unique, even though we've seen it before in horror movies and such. Finally, for the main animatronic characters, we have these two oddballs, which are Buzzsaw, and a fresh new character known as Teddykins of Terror. Teddykins of Terror doesn't really have much going on with him, he's just a giant bumbling teddy bear who almost dies immediately. And I don't know about you, but I swear he might have been based off Teddy Bear, an older, very unsettling perhaps tabletop prop from Spirit. Buzzsaw on the other hand, my goodness, he's a powerhouse in this movie. He's got his mallet for one hand, and his buzzsaw in the other. And damn, if you want to try to fend off this big boy you can't, thanks to his former fighting instincts from wrestling, hence the 2 marks surrounding both of his eyes. There was also other animatronics who also made brief appearances, like Henry Hustle, Mr. Howl, and even Hauntress. And you see, instead of freaking Teddykins of Terror being in this film, they really should have picked one of these characters, because for one, Mr. Howl was tall and beefy, and 2, Hauntress could have been flying around unofficially stalking the quote victims. We've also seen this fortune teller lady, which was honestly more of a gimmick than anything. Then during the final big main scene, there were all these cheap Sunstar looking props that came to life, which seriously, I'd prefer if they didn't move because it looked pretty cursed, but thankfully Jake used a random Nerf weapon to sabotage every remaining possessed being who lived in the fabric sheets of these very hanging props. Now speaking of Jake, let's talk about the actors who were all involved with Spirit Halloween the movie. Funny enough, I know nobody who was in this movie, other than Rachel Lee Cook, who played the role of Jake's mother named Sue, and the one and only Christopher Lloyd, who unfortunately didn't redo the role of Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and instead did the role of a budget-friendly character named Alec Windsor, the quote, Spirit of Halloween. I do think though that there was a very slight reference to Back to the Future, due to the suit and tie that Lloyd was wearing as Alec Windsor. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a reference photo or anything, but if you watch or know the Back to the Future franchise, you may or may not know what I'm talking about and explaining to you. And we can't forget about little old Grandma G, that is. I will say that even though she doesn't have much screen time, her overall character and vibe is quite creepy, especially since she also has one eye. And I don't know about you, but one scene in particular kind of has me feeling sus, cause it involves Grandma G doing a scenes, and I have suspicion in which I'll discuss them. First, I would like to answer the question of what do I officially rate Spirit Halloween the movie. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not giving it a solid 10 out of 10, but for what it turned out to be in the end in terms of everything, I'm going to be officially giving Spirit Halloween the movie an 8 out of 10, or perhaps a 7.5 out of 10. I know that my scoring might be off, but again, for the second time, this movie wasn't meant to have high levels of intensity. Maybe if it was produced by someone like Blumhouse instead of a fairly unrecognizable film production company, like Strike Back Studios, it would have been higher in my ranking, but whatever. Now here's the thing, referring back to that scene earlier involving Grandma G, could I see a second Spirit Halloween the movie in the potential near future? Yes, I could, but I personally at least hope that maybe another production company would take on the project. Let's just say Blumhouse for example, because they have already done some more kid/family friendly movies like Megan, Five Nights at Freddy's, or even Imaginary. Still they had and have all the blood and gore in it. Either way, I would highly recommend watching Spirit Halloween the movie even though it is cheesy. And besides, sometimes we just need to laugh and say, what the hell did I just watch? Currently it is available to watch on select streaming platforms such as Amazon Prime Video, or if you really want to, go to Spirit Halloween's website, because they still to this day offer both Blu-ray, and a normal non-Blu-ray physical copy of the movie itself to buy. Now I sound like that Nate guy on Saturday Night Snack and a Movie.